Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about how you can actually achieve internet marketing in an hour a day. And obviously the first thing you're going to need to do if you can only devote an hour a day, I say only, it's actually quite a long period of time, is actually manage your time. And that means get rid of the distractions for as long as you can of things like Facebook, checking emails, checking stats, all the different things that swallow up your time, and you look back an hour later and think, what have I actually done? One easy way is just create a spreadsheet that you just fill in every half hour or whatever, just what you've done, and that will quickly highlight where you're getting distracted. But whatever works for you, just monitor your time, manage your time as best you can, because that's the first start in this kind of timescale. The next may sound obvious, most of these are going to sound obvious, but it's work with your strengths. It's pointless pushing string uphill or whatever. Just work with your strengths. If you like producing videos like this, use videos. If you like writing content, use articles and PDFs and things like that. If you like creating software, do that. Work with your strengths, because you'll find you go with the flow really, and it works a lot easier. Next point is to stay in control of your main sites. If you're spending an hour a day and you've done that consistently weekdays over the next year, you spent 200 hours on this project, you want to be in control. And that means you need your own hosting, not free hosting, and you need your own domain, not one that's piggybacking on someone else's site. So by that I mean you actually need to buy your own domain. They're about $10 give or take a year, hosting a few dollars a month. So if need be, sacrifice a coffee a week or whatever just to pay for it. But you'll find ways around it, and there's often deals that will start your first month's hosting for $1 or something like that. So you can do that, just be aware that that doesn't lead to high future costs. But stay in control. Don't, this video's on YouTube, that's fine, but it shouldn't be your main site. It should point to your main site and support it. Next thing is actually keep to your schedule, because again, if you can spare an hour a day, and actually don't get me wrong, an hour is an absolutely fantastic length of time. You can get an awful lot done in an hour, and I can do several of these videos. I can create 2 quite long posts. I can do several pages of an ebook, whatever it happens to be, and you can do the same. Okay, your first one might take a bit longer, that's fine, but keep to your schedule as close as you can. Don't beat yourself up if you miss it by a few minutes or whatever, but if you miss it completely, again, don't beat yourself up, and make sure you don't make the same mistake again tomorrow. So do your best to keep to your schedule and keep actually working. So if you decided you're going to set aside 2 30-minute segments, and that's actually quite a good way of doing your hour, might be half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, whatever it happens to be, keep to it as best you can and as often as you can. And a bit like a diet or a weight loss or whatever, if you miss it one day, it doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means you've missed it that day and it hasn't broken everything. So again, keep as much as you can to schedule. Choose what you're going to promote, because unless you're doing this as a labour of love or to support a cause that you agree with or whatever, and even a cause is something you're going to promote, typically that means products that other people have created or possibly ones that you've created yourself. But either way, choose exactly what you're going to promote and actually put it into your links. We'll come into that in a second, but the quickest way to do that is to go somewhere like Amazon. They don't pay very much commission, but they're highly trusted, which means that what you lose in commission you make up for in more sales, and they're very, very good at doing extra sales. You'll have noticed the other people who bought this also bought this. Those kind of upsells work a treat and take your commission up quite nicely. But choose what to promote, and if there's nothing to promote, obviously think again as to whether that's really what you want your site to be about. That links in with the next bit. You need products to sell. You can't just have something in isolation. I mean, chances are, regardless of what it is nowadays, there's a product for it and there's demand for it. And even things like 3D printers, which at the time of making this video are expensive, people are buying them, and people are buying the recipes, for want of a better word, the actual print designs to print out. So just do a little bit of research. Don't spend hours and hours and hours on it. If there's more than a page of products on Amazon in your selected thing, that's probably fine, because it means that you've got products to sell. And again, if there's more than a page or so in it for your search, then there'll be people to sell them to, because Amazon will have found them and they'll be finding them there. and you'll just be writing about them or talking about them or whatever else you decide to do. The next bit is absolutely critical. Stop dreaming about it, stop thinking about it, actually start it. It actually doesn't matter. You don't need to get it perfect, we'll come on to that in a second, but stop dreaming, start the project. So buy the domain, get the hosting up, install WordPress or whatever, that's just a click of a few buttons, and it doesn't have to look particularly pretty at this stage in time, but it does have to be there. Monetize your site from day one, mainly because you won't remember otherwise, and it's a pain in the neck to go back. If you created, say you decided to wait a year to monetize your site, you've got 200 posts upwards on it, you'd have to go back through and put affiliate links in all of those, or product links or whatever. It's just an awful lot easier to put those in from day one, even though chances are it's only going to be you and maybe Google looking at the site. So put your money links in now while you remember, and the other thing is that you'll get usually a sale notification or whatever saying you've actually sold something, and that gives you the incentive to go back to the site and do more on it. If you've got an inner perfectionist, push it to one side somehow. Just don't wait until everything's perfect, because it'll never be perfect. You'll look back on something you think is absolutely fantastic today, and in a year's time you'll look back and think, why did I do it that way? Doesn't matter. It's perfect for today. Tomorrow's another day, you can always change it. So don't wait, because that's just an excuse for procrastination, and that would stop you actually in your tracks. So don't wait until everything's perfect, just keep going at it. And part of the mix of actually creating stuff is to actually promote your site. So you need to do, most of your content needs to go on your own site, but some of it needs to be things like videos like this one, which can actually go on your site as well as other sites. But promote it. Create a few links. Nothing, you don't have to do thousands and thousands. In fact, nowadays that probably counts against you, but certainly do some, otherwise you don't stand too much chance of getting found. Keep an eye on your results, and that doesn't mean obsessively going into Google and checking where you rank and getting depressed because you're on page 1,000,001. Then it doesn't mean going in and to your stats and pressing refresh every 10 minutes or whatever. It just means keep an eye on it once a week maybe. What I tend to do, some of the services I use like Stat Counter, which is free, that's statcounter.com. Set up an alert, weekly alert, and you'll just get some stats emailed through to you. They may not have many numbers on, that doesn't matter, or monthly reports, doesn't matter either way, just something to keep an eye on it, and it'll just give you a little background trigger that actually something is happening or something isn't. But either way, it stops you going in and pressing refresh all the time and just wasting your time. The other thing is, don't expect overnight results. It almost never happens. You'll read about them occasionally because people that get them are really excited and like to brag, but most of the time it takes time to get results. So that's fine, just keep plodding away at it. That's the idea of doing the hour a day, because it's the kind of time you can spare quite happily, and do that consistently, an hour a day, 5 days a week. Over the course of a year is 200 hours spent on your site, and you'd have a massive site by the end of that, probably 300 or 400 pages of content either on your site or elsewhere, maybe more if you do short videos like this one, and that will start getting traffic, guaranteed. But don't expect it to be launched today and page 1 of Google tomorrow. That doesn't happen. If you'd like to know more, find out more, click on the link below this video and you can find out more. Okay, thanks for watching.